All right, so tonight I'm going to try to do something. I have loads of rose petals that have dried and all other like type of things like cloth and stuff. And so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to create holy relic cards that are actually third class relics. So a first class relic, I have, as you can see, loads of them here. I have first class relics of the saints. And so for example, what you do is you take something like an object and you touch it to the first class relic, and then it becomes a third class relic. So what I'm going to try to do is take some holy cards, and I'm going to touch them to the first class relics and turn them into something I can give to people that really need help, maybe healing or religious inspiration. So I'll be honest with all of you, I'm really not very devout with my religion, with Catholicism. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a cloth and I'm just going to film this, because if I give any of these cards to anybody, at least they can see that it's true that I did touch this to the first class relics. And so I don't even know how to pray. Honestly, I don't even know how to pray properly. But here we go. So I ask that you intercede. Now I'm talking to the saints. I ask that you intercede on my behalf to Lord Jesus Christ to make whoever receives this cloth that is touched to your holy relic, that they get some kind of healing. I ask that you, St. Pope Pius, you, St. Maria Goretti, you, St. Anthony, St. Therese of Lisieux, who else do we have? St. John Neumann, St. Raymond, Saint Marguerite of Castello. Who else do we have? Saint Margaret. Who else? Oh, Saint Rita. We have Saint, let's see, Cotolango. We have, I'm zooming in here. Oh, Mary Euphrasia. And we have Saint, I can't even see. Oh, Saint Paul of the Cross. And all of you saints, I ask that you please intercede for whoever gets this cloth touched to the relic and placed into this holy card, that you give them healing. If they are sick, please give them healing. Ask for the Lord Jesus Christ to heal his people and intercede on their behalf. I ask you to make them well again, mentally, physically. Also bring them happiness, joy, and make them feel that they're not alone and that they're loved. So now I'm going to touch this cloth, and we are going to touch it to the first class relics. And we're going to ask these saints to intercede on the behalf of whoever receives this item with this cloth that's anointed by the bodies and relics of the saints. And so I'm touching every single one of them with this cloth. Here's St. Therese of Lisieux, one of my favorite saints of all times. Here we go, Pope Pius X. And we're filming this just so you could see that these were touched to the relics of the saints. And we have St. Rita in here, and St. Therese and St. Thomas. And okay, all right, so we're going to get started, and I'm going to laminate the cards. So before I get the cards, since this cloth has been actually touched to the first class saints, I want to touch this cloth to the rose petals. And now these are going to be third class relics. And we're also going to touch the cards to the relics again, once again, to make sure that everything is secondly blessed, if we can do that. Now we need our tailor scissors, and we're going to cut little squares out of this cloth. Okay, so I'm going to need little, tiny little squares cut out for each of the relics. And the best type of scissors, of course, is fabric scissors. And this is velvet. And I'm just going to cut little squares out so we can actually glue this to the holy relic cards, which are going to be our third class relics. And they're not going to all be perfectly straight, of course, because I'm not an expert in this. We're going to get clear glue and glue them on to the holy cards. Let's just make sure that this is big enough. This one is not. I can see that. All right, and now we're just going to cut across and get our squares. And I'm trying to do this as straight as possible. It is not easy to cut cloth, as you can see here. All right, so we have like little squares, and anything that's not cut fully off, I'm going to actually make that happen. I just have to fix this one. There we go. And now we have all these squares. Let's get our cards and let's get our laminator. So I got stars and moons and like really iridescent pretty things. And I'm like trying to figure out where I'm going to put this. So I have the thing that picks up rhinestones and picks up little decorations and tweezers. So let's get that out. We're going to glue it with Elmer's clear glue, just a tiny dab, because inside the laminator it should stay. All right, so I want to put some stars on Pope Pius and some moons and stuff on here to give it like some pretty flair. So I'm going to look for some stars, and we need tiny stars. Here we go. And so I'm going to actually put some glue in the spot where I want all the stars. So I think right on his cloak would be a great start. All right, so I'm just gonna, this dries clear, thankfully. So I'm just gonna put a dot of glue. I have to actually see if this is gonna come out. Okay, all right, so it should start coming out. Okay, there we go. All right, I tested it on my hand. All right, so I'm gonna put a couple of dabs of glue, and we're gonna stick some stars with this little thing. And if you hear that sound, that is actually the laminator machine heating up. And so we're going to just stick these little stars on here and just give it a little bit of a pretty look to it. It's very hard to get these little things off. So, okay, we got that on. There we go. Look, see the little stars? Okay, so it's coming together. We got this coming together. And I'm just going to put some more glue in a couple of spots. You see, it is coming together. I'm going to have to get my reading glasses because I can't see what I'm doing. All right, so now that my card is actually finished, I dried it with a hair dryer, and hopefully it's dry, because you don't want to put this in a laminating sheet if it's like soaking wet with glue. That would be like the stupidest thing to do. I'm going to add some rose petals also, and let's get beginning on this. Oops. All right, so I also wrote on the back that it was touched to first class relics. So I got 5mm thickness laminating sheets, and apparently they do curl up sometimes, and it doesn't like things that have height on it. So I don't know, this might actually become a disaster. So I'm going to place this in here in the center, and I want to put a bunch of roses in the bottom. I'm trying to find the center spot in the center. And what I want to do is I want to put a bunch of roses in here, but it might end up curling up the paper. So we're going to try. We're going to try. If worst comes to worst, what happens is we just make another one. But these cards are not cheap, unfortunately. So I just want to make sure that this is even. And I'm just going to move it over just a tad bit. All right. And push it straight in up against the fold. So we're going to put a bunch of roses going around it, so it doesn't curl up on the ends. We don't want it to curl up on the ends. So I'm just shoving the roses in here. And we're going to also touch it to the first class relics again when this is through. So we're just going to put a bunch of roses going around the saint. And Saint Pope Pius is really quite holy. Let's go ahead and do this. It will come out clear when you're done. It will come out clear. So right now it's just frosted, but it will definitely come out clear. So I'm just going to put a bunch of rose petals going around. I just want to find the right ones that are the right size. And we can break some of them in half so it'll fit on the sides better. And I'm just doing this for documentary purposes so that if somebody gets this card, they will see that it was touched to the first class relics and it's real. It's not a fake. And I'm putting these on the edges because sometimes the edges of this curls up and it just looks terrible. I just need one more rose. All right, so I'm going to flatten out the roses as best as I can with my hand and push it down. And I'm going to push whatever's sticking out in so this can seal. And let's see what happens. I mean, the worst that can happen is I have to do this all over again. It's not fun. But, all right, let's pull a laminating machine closer. And I did a review on this the other day, and it gave me a mixed response. Either the papers came out terrible or it came out okay. So let's go ahead and feed this in. This might be a disaster. Let's hope it's not. All right, we're waiting for the results, and I'm very nervous. And, oh my God, it came out perfect, boys and girls. All right, so whoever needs this is going to get this. If somebody has a really bad illness or somebody that, needs inspiration, they actually need a little encouragement. I'm going to have my husband, because I'm an agoraphobic. I don't know if you guys follow me, but if you don't follow me, I have really bad anxiety disorder, and I have agoraphobia mixed with PTSD, so I barely ever leave the house. So this could actually, it could be a blessing for my own self, but now I'm not acting like I'm like Mrs. Charity over here. Trust me, I sin every single day. I'm not a wonderful person. I have I have my bads. If you watch some of my videos, you'll see me with filthy language, yelling and screaming, and being like sort of nasty. And some people even write that I'm a really mean person. But I just want to give this card to somebody that needs this, like needs a prayer, needs some hope, needs some kind of healing. And perhaps this, by being touched to all the relics of the saints that I had, the first class saints that I had in my collection, this might help somebody. So I'm going to pass this on to my husband to give it out to somebody locally that may need a little bit of love and encouragement. And I may even make these for other people if they ask, if they request. Of course, you're going to have to cover the expenses. But this is actually, look at that. You see the stars? So I put it on the side of his coat and made it so that when you turn it at different angles, you can see these stars glimmering. And here we go. And then I put a star right here on the holy cloth that I touched to all the relics. Really fast, we're going to touch it to the first class relics one more time for documentary purposes. All right, so here, we have our card right here. And I'm going to have it face the holy relics. And so you can see I'm touching this and hoping that these wonderful saints can pass on an intercession and can intercede on behalf of Lord Jesus Christ to heal somebody, bring joy to their life, to make them well again if they're sick, to make them feel happy if they feel lonely, make them not feel so alone, make them not feel so sad, make them not feel like their trip in life is actually fruitless. Give them inspiration. Give them happiness, healing. If somebody is sick, make them well. Restore them on behalf of Lord Jesus Christ, please. I ask each and every one of you beautiful saints, holy saints, to whoever carries this card, receives the blessings of Lord Jesus Christ and receives healing, joy, and mind and body and soul healed from anything that afflicts that person or persons. Thank you for watching. See you guys all soon, and hopefully I can make more of these cards and share them with more people.